Looks like a motorbike. Oh, it's a scooter. Scooter. We're gonna clean this guy up. It's been sitting in evaporust for quite a while. You can see all the muckiness in there. That stuff is real nasty. So we'll drain this out, and then we've got some of this stuff to put in there, some fuel tank sealer. So we'll clean that out, we'll drain it, flush it with water, hair dryer, help dry it out, chuck this in there. So we'll give that a go. I don't think I'm going to get it any drier on the inside. So we'll follow the next steps. So you pour the whole thing in, contents into the tank, fill the hole and rotate slowly. That we can do. So there's some thick stuff on the bottom, so we'll make sure to stir this really well. Drain for at least 30 minutes and then allow a minimum of 96 hours for drying. So I'm pretty happy that I've probably got everywhere. So I've got that tank sealer all in there now, and hopefully you'll be able to see it looks a lot better in there now, like a lot better, which is great. So I'm really happy with how that's turned out in there. A pro tip, however, is wear gloves when you're doing this. I mean, that's a bit of it there. That stuff is like monkey snot, hey? You can't get that off. You know, I spent a long time getting that off my fingers, really. But that's all in there now. Fingers are mostly clean. And I've just wiped things down with acetone just to clean that up. So that's good. We're leaving that there. And then we'll pop that in. Alright, so I've done a few things today. Done some painting, so I've painted up the gear shift foot shifter thing. I've repainted the valve cover just because it was looking a bit shabby and I was painting stuff anyway, so I decided to strip that and paint that. I don't know what it is yet, but I painted this. So I wanted to get that done because I want to put that in. And that is where this guy comes into it. This is probably the first body panel that we'll be putting on. Obviously we can adjust this back a bit so this is a bit more out of the way. And this guy here slots through the bottom there and axles on that. And then we've got this bottom bit here, comes into this rod and back here to the shifter. We've also finished doing the tank, so we've had that sitting there for a little while. But I might try and just get the gear linkage in there and get this front panel on. Alright, so what we've got with this one is we've got this weird looking bolt here, but it's basically got a hole there and a hole there to do simple oiling. Basically that just sits in there and we can oil it without actually doing too much, and we've just got another bolt that threads into the edge there. I'll just grease this anyway because it's easy to while I'm here. So I've got that just greased up. We'll go and chuck it in this way. That looks right. So we've got this end that just comes in through here. And we've got this bit here which just needs to link up into here. And if we are rocking this, it's going to move that bar and change our gears. I do have covers for that somewhere as well. There is more covers somewhere. I believe it would just be one of these two. We'll just slide on. So that's that one in there. So got this bracket that needs to come in here. Marries up this panel with the front bit here. And on this side we've got just a couple bolts to go through, connect to that bracket. Alright, so we're at the front of the bike and we'll just put in the brake lever that we've got here. There's a few things that we need to do for it. It slides into this panel here. We've got a couple holes for some split pins, and we'll put some washers on just to make sure it doesn't rock around too much. I did find some washers, although they're copper, so probably not the best. I've got the grease in there. This bit in here was painted, so I've stripped back the paint, so I should be able to force this now through here and slide this in here. Three of these little washers on for this end, and then one on for this end. Okay, so that's that pin in. So for doing the brake here, the brake pedal, I was going to quickly do it. It's been a few days now, but I was going to quickly do it, but the actual pedal part of it was quite rusted. So basically this just sort of threads on here, but it was really rusted, so I took that paint back and cleaned it all up. The rubber thing that I had before, that sits on this side actually. It's a bit pearish, but it'll probably do for now. Okay, it's on there. That's good. I know we've been talking about it for a long time, but we're finally going to get the fuel tank on there. We've got a few rubbers that we need. So we've got these three guys. They're all the same. They basically come into each of these corners. They come into each of these corners and just attach them to the frame. Really simple, and I've got a fuel tap here. We'll just tidy this up and get this in there. So the thing with these rubbers is flat, so the flat one goes on top. The protruded one goes underneath. So we'll chuck those on. I think we might need to remove this. What it looks like it is. It's kind of sitting in there. That's at least sitting in there. Took a while. There's a bracket I think that comes off the back here. Don't know what that looks like yet. I might hold off on the fuel tap because if I break this, I'll be quite annoyed. So I will not muck around with the fuel tap right at the minute. We're just trying to get that suspension back in there. Alright, so what we're doing is we're going to chuck the rear fender on. Just slides in and bolts to the frame there. We've got this bracket that just comes up here. Make sure we put these guys in. Getting the nuts on is going to be even harder. I almost need to pull the coils out of the way. Alright, so we've got the rear fender on there now, which is really good. So that means that we can move on to putting on some tail stuff. I am missing a few bits that I've realized now. I'm sure I'm missing the center bit here. Basically has a little hump in the middle. I'm missing the whole front bit that comes down like this, and a little bit up here I think I'm missing. Yeah, I'm worried it might flop. Should we do the front one first? Good, test run. I stalled it.